because I'm thirsty. I'm very thirsty. Come on. Here's our first customer. Taste it. Taste it, Rainbow. Thirsty. Where are you? Where are you? Taste the Rainbow. One more. Chicken Rainbow. Well, hello there, humans, hippies, other things, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and if you're lucky enough indeed to be doing it too. I'm Bushka, and today I want to do something a little bit different. This is a game I had the other night on the live stream. Now, I'll let you know straight off the bat that I do pretty well in the game, and I don't want this to be the kind, because this has never been the kind of channel where I just post a game and say, insane, massive, multi-kill, I'm the best. It's not what I'm after. I thought what I'd do today is actually talk about the mistakes I made in this game. And despite the fact that it's a game where I do very, very well, it's still a game where I make some big errors. And I want to talk about them and talk about what I'm doing as I'm doing it. Now, boot camp, for first and foremost, like, it's a funny entity in and of itself. I'm really kind of synonymous on the channel now with boot camp because I spend so much time here hot dropping. The content is awesome, and it more than anything provides, for me, in Pubg Mobile, the best first-person shooter experience I can get. But one of the problems I have is, and I do this a lot, I get thirsty on knocks. What do I mean by thirsty on knocks? I'll knock someone, right? And I will then stick around to clear the knock, and I'll put a full clip in, and then I've got to go for a reload. That's all right when you're in a position like this. That's not a problem. But when you're in close combat and things are happening in a very, very limited environment and you don't know how many people are in the enemy squad, that's a mistake because nothing can be done. Once someone is knocked, they are combat ineffective. They're alive, but the only thing they're doing is causing problems for their teammates. Now, I actually do a good job of that in a wee while, in a little situation, in a squad that pushes into boot camp a little later. But for the moment, it's worth noting that if I'm in an up-close and personal situation, I do tend to get a little bit thirsty on the knocks, and that's a bad idea. Now, another thing is I'm spending a lot of time at the windows, right? It's a calculated bet, okay? I'm pretty certain that I'm okay, but I'm not sure of that. And if there was someone in one of these buildings that was just camping a building and had an eyeball through one of these windows, I'd easily get cleared. And I clear people doing that all the time. As far as the gameplay itself is concerned, though, I'm staying fairly mobile. And I'm ADSing here, which is good. ADSing is good. I don't always ADS correctly. I knocked one and I've headshot the other. Now, I'm pretty happy with this passage of play. This means that they are really in strife. The first guy I knocked is down. He needs to be revived. Then he's going to have to heal up. The second guy I hammered, hit him with a headshot and some other shots as well, which means he's going to need to heal up. So even if I get over there, my vest and helmet are completely clean. Their vest and helmet is very likely going to be very low. So if I push across here, I should be able to catch them napping. And that's exactly what I do. You'll also see, watch me switch guns. I'm really happy with that. That's a really good passage of play for me. The reason I think that's a good passage of play is that I will quite often do just that, run 2 ARs on this particular map. So many of your engagements, specifically when you're solo versus squad, are just decent players on the Asia server. And once they see that you've threw a clip, they will push you and they'll push you hard. And if you've got squad mates with you, that's grand because generally, you've got support and someone's going to nut them. But when you're on your own and they push you, if you've got a Kar 98 or something like that on this map, you're going to get waxed. And even a QBU is much better. I won't really ever run a sniper rifle these days on this map. I just don't find that there are enough engagements at, say, 150 meters to warrant it, and that you get enough clear free shots. Most of your fights in the jungle are very, very close quarters, and having a sniper rifle is just wasting your time. Now, this next engagement is a good example of why I run the QBU rather than a Car 98 or something. And I've had plenty of opportunity to pick up Car 98. I will often run AAR in boot camp or paradise, wherever I am, till I clear. And then once I'm clear, I'll change to a QBU or an SKS or a Mini 4, not a Mini 14, an SKS or an SLR, whatever I can get a hold of. Such a big dog, this gun. Really is. We knocked the first guy and then knocked the second guy there as he rolled in. Might have left the first guy for a little bit. I think he was going to go loot a crate. I do that sometimes, which is a bit of a mistake. People are just running down to loot a crate when they clear someone. And if you engage them too early, you miss the opportunity to get like that free big dog headshot, followed by a couple of little quick taps if you're in a gun with a QBU or something like that. It's kind of gun handling. You can very easily just ride it back down and be successful. Now that's a bot, but I wanted to take a moment before this next passage of Blake to talk about Thirsty, being hungry on knocks. Now I mentioned it at the start of the game. I'm going to do a good job here. I'm camping the edge of the zone line. This is a perfect spot. People roll through boot camp at the end of the game as a circle contracts because there's lots and lots of good gear in here. Everyone's sort of, get new vests and more ammo and everything like that. Great. So I find these guys coming in and I knock the first guy. And then I'm going to knock another guy and another guy. And it's not the aggressive play that I have an issue with. I really don't. I love playing a very aggressive manner. I'm all about aggression. If you've watched me play at all, it's the fact that there is no need for me to be clearing these knocks. These knocks are not the problem. The people who are still on their feet are the combat effective ones. And it's great. Get a hold of those two. Okay, so I've now got 3 knocks there and there's one guy alive. Watch me go here. That is a bad idea. That last guy that I shot was absolutely the guy that I needed to kill. The last guy that I got there was the guy that I needed to be paying attention to, the Japanese gamer there. I think it's Big Gamer or something like that. The other guys were not even up and about. They could not have shot me back. And going for a knock in that situation is just a stupid thing to do. And I was very, very lucky to get away with it. It's very lazy. But, it's hard when it's all happening to actually put it all through your brain and come out the other side with something sensible. And again, I've pushed through the circle. I've got through to the next stage. No more kills. Nothing interesting going on here. And I'm just working the edge of this circle here. I've got to come in across that very wide open ground. And I know that there's people coming from all around me who have had to, like me, swim across this river and look for a position that's nice and safe. So I'm just working this back area here. One of the big things that I like to do is clear the back of the circle before I move forward. And then I know that I'm the only predator out there and I don't have to worry too much. I can still hear there's someone kicking around here. There's footprints. Got to be very close. And they've actually drifted past me and are heading towards the middle of the circle, but have then heard me moving around. This here is a bit silly. Now, I've knocked one, okay? That's fair enough. My reasoning on this is very solid, and I don't mind the reasoning, but that's a wrong place to that's the wrong place, okay? I could have hooked left or right and had that rock for cover or the end of the wall for cover, and they wouldn't have been able to get shots at me. Going straight down the middle in front of them and jumping the wall is like, if he wasn't trying to revive his teammate, I was dead. And, little things. And I win the engagement because I obviously was able to get to the gunfight better than he was. But it's still, I look at it and I think there's a lot of room for improvement in that gameplay. There's a lot of silly decisions that, and trust me, they cost me all the time. Like I have this weird thing that goes on where I'll get to the top 10 in a game and I'll die to something absolutely stupid and then go, even as I'm doing it, I'll be like, this is a terrible idea. Why am I doing this? And it's almost like this laziness comes across me. I'm just like, you know what? I will just do it anyway. It'll probably work. You're in it, you're a chance. Instead of taking that extra 5 seconds to get it done, I just go straight down the guts. It's not perfect. I also could have stopped at any of these crates and checked to see if there was a a vest. It wouldn't have taken a second. Auto pickup would have picked up a vest if there was one there. If one of those guys had died of a headshot. This is an interesting one too, because I actually spot one of the guys that's left up there. Now, this is actually something I'm pretty happy with. To get a shot on that guy, I've got to go out in front of it, that rock. There's no good angle here, and he is available for a shot. But, I mean, then I just miss. I don't actually miss so much as that tree. That tree gets in the way. And the trees on Sanok are grubs. And so now everyone knows where I am. Like, that's just a shot that I shouldn't have taken. The odds of getting the clear were low, and now there. That shot that I just took is a direct result of that shot that I just had a go at on that other guy. That was like, everyone, there is a guy with a QBU over here running into the zone. I mean, that was probably the passage of play where I got away with things the most. And then there's a big gunfight over there. So I see the gunfight going down, chuck some smoke, just generally save one just in case, and then I move in on the zone line. And instead of running to the safe part of the zone, this is actually play. I'm pretty happy with this. I'm checking, just maneuvering around. I'm going to run the edges of the zone and see if it flushes these guys that were to my east. Lo and behold, that's that guy that I had the shot at. Again, this is thirsty though. This is thirsty. There is no need to clear that knock. That's a reload that does not need to be made. Again, I clear this knock. I go for a full reload, hit him, and then go for another full reload. This is pretty good though. On the live stream, Dan was saying, who's shooting at him, a stormtrooper? And to be fair, I just was very conscious of where that gun was coming from. So I was able to use those two trees very, very well. The trees on Sanok that screwed me earlier are the trees on Sanok that just saved me there, because they have this kind of weird modeling on them that means they catch rounds that are outside the physical dimensions that you can see on the model. Like, they catch rounds an inch or two either side. It's quite weird, but they do it, and happy days for us. And the last guy here is pretty straightforward. I'm going to drop a smoke grenade, and I'm just going to fidget around here, and I'm going to see if I can get him to pop and give me an idea on where he is. And I hear a gun fire off that 255, 275 mark when I zone out, when I strafe out. And then it's just a simple deduction that if he's out there and he's shooting and he's in first person, he can see me, he's got to be standing up. And if he's standing up, he's not going to be standing up in an open field. He will be peeking from behind the tree. And it's a really, really simple thing for me to do, to just hit that tree. And he is exactly where I expect him to be. And we get the 20 bomb. There it is. See where that gunfire is coming from? He's got to be at that tree. Hey, look at me. I know exactly where he's going to be. Yeah. So that was good. There were some parts of that game that I was really happy with. There are other parts that obviously need improvement. Mostly getting greedy on knocks. That's a damage thing. We all want it. We want the big numbers. And if you kill someone, you get 100 hit points damage. And if you then clear the knock, you get another 100 hit points damage. So every time you clear the knock, you're getting 200 damage. Whereas if you take 100 and then leave them alone at the end of the game, instead of having 2,500 damage, I've got 2,000 damage. But it's still not good play. It's just one of those things. I'm Bushka. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. And until next time, look after yourselves and stay safe on the battlefield. Bye for now.